I'm Arinoth, and I'm playing Roderick Kane.
I'm Legacy, and I am playing Loretta.
I'm Luca, and I'm playing Frederick Freddy Perler.
I'm Tink, and I'm playing Helena McLeod.
I'm Vironz, I am playing Sister Rosalie.
I'm Solomon, and I am playing as the librarian for this evening. When we last left our investigators, they had endeavored to head into the moors of Runkrug to discover what exactly lay in wait for them there. They had made preparations with studies for rituals, acquiring weapons, and in Frederick's case, he acquired a alchemical bomb. One that he was not sure exactly what it would do, but he was sure that it would certainly be effective. Heading into the moors, they found themselves at a old-styled grand amphitheater. One that had been taken up by twin little sister serpents, which, despite the name, are massive, able to swallow up entire automobiles if they wished. One had been taken out by the efforts of the librarian, leaving the last to defend its nest and the artifacts within. With the help of the bomb, Loretta's marksmanship, and rituals from both Roderick and Sister Rosalie with the assistance of Helena, they managed to bring the serpent low, to keep it pinned to the ground in a greatly injured state, while they took the artifacts from within. A tablet image of the Saint Agnes, as well as a very important, very powerful key. With these items, they managed to head back to town. It was getting late in the evening, so they were planning on getting a bit to eat and retiring, only for Helena to get a letter from home, as well as a newspaper of the day's events, which showed not only that certain things were beginning to get more interesting in Europe, but also that the dream that Helena had possibly come true. This causing Helena McLeod to faint at the very sight of it and be carried back into the hush house. We are going to begin the following day, the following morning, and I would like everyone to please roll me determination, except for Helena.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Statistically, I should pass this.
Same.
And I did.
So did I. Oh, we got the same number.
Twinsies.
Love that. Look at us, we're twinning.
I did not.
Oh, did we pull our tarot card for the day?
Oh, we did not. Let me go ahead and pull that for you.
Wow.
Thank you for the reminder.
Slacking librarian.
Actually, no, we did last
He
session.
had a busy day. Oh yeah, you did at the end of the session.
We did. We pulled the Colonel.
That's
okay.
right.
I don't retract my sentence.
It's people made jokes about chicken.
Yeah, what's this recipe for like any seasonings?
Get out of my brain.
Pain. For the Colonel, the recipe is pain.
Without love.
Definitely.
I've got so many jokes that I'll refrain from.
It seems that everyone is doing just fine, recovering very well. Sister Rosalie, I believe that you had a level of fascination this previous session.
Yes. did.
That will remain there.
Yes, I have light is pure. I also have an entry for devoting myself to the Colonel.
The injury will have healed and scarred over. The fascination, however, will remain.
That's
because it was meaningfully self-inflicted.
Mhm.
Roderick, you feel hands across your body. You are able to move and to thrash and try to fight them off, but you feel strength in unnaturally thin limbs, unnaturally thin digits grasping at you, feeling much like what you imagined the serpent felt when you called the Mother of Ants to bring its sister to heal. You can hear insect-like chittering all around you as well, lilted with a soft, feminine giggle. And you feel like you're now being watched because you called her here. As you wake up and you have a level of dread called fingers across my skin.
Charming.
That is not pleasant.
Helena,
Yes.
you feel like you're dreaming,
Mm-hmm.
but you also feel like you're in control. You know that you are currently not in the waking world. You know that you are currently elsewhere, possibly somewhere within that dream realm that you had encountered the others in before.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not cold. And it's not silent. You hear drums. You hear the crashing of thunder and a heavy beat. That same beat in your head and your soul, strongly beating here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear where it's coming from.
I'm sorry. Stop it, y'all. Where is it coming from?
It is coming from in front of you, and you can feel yourself being beckoned almost.
I guess I will follow that.
You make your way along, and you can see thunder crashing, lightning streaking across the sky. And suddenly, what was a fairly desolate looking plain now has 4 pillars that have fleshy tendrils that connect to a large human-shaped heart that is currently beating in the center of it, creating that drum beat for you.
Oh my.
You are not alone here. There are others. There are a few people, men, women. You even recognize another famous dancer, a more French ballet and more stage dancer that had made a bit of a name for himself, but had seemed to back off from the public eye after a rather unexplained trip to Alexandria several years ago.
Oh.
And you see them all moving with grace and power. You see them confident and joyous here. Do you join them?
I guess so.
Please give me a roll of stagecraft.
No pressure. None whatsoever. Okay. Let me. Not so good. My stagecraft is 80. And I rolled 83.
Would you like to utilize one of the tarot dice to reroll?
What do we have left? I need to look. Wrong channel. What do we have left?
If you go up to the references and announcements, it's pinned what we have left.
Hey. Well, trying to think of which one would work for this particular situation. Recommendations?
If you would like a suggestion,
Mm-hmm.
the flower maker's actual imagery is fairly artistic, fairly bright. The art of dancing could be akin to such an image.
Oh.
If you would like to pull from one of the dice of one of the d8s of the flower maker, and have a 7 out of 8 chance of getting better.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Yeah, as long as I don't get an 8, we're good. I think I will give that a shot. Alright, y'all?
Okie dokie.
Nope, I got an 8. Oh, it's the same number.
Unfortunately.
It's okay.
On the positive side, when a die is used and the roll is still a failure, the die is not spent, so it just goes back onto the flower maker.
Cool. And at least I'm only 3 over as opposed to like drastically.
Fair enough.
There we go. 83 of 80.
The dance is odd for you to try to join in. The beat is there, but you are missing a step. Something is just not quite connecting here. You feel yourself, as you're trying to dance in alone, you feel yourself being pulled and guided. The dancer that you saw before is looking at you and trying to gently guide your movements with his own, until you find yourself more dancing along with another woman who looks to be of higher on the aristocratic line, but she looks like she is just joyous, but to the point where it's almost scary. Like her bliss and her happiness is like a hammer against you. And I would like you to go ahead and roll again, please.
Roll.
Stagecraft again.
Okay. I'm scared, y'all. Oh, much better. 34.
Much better indeed. this assistance from the others is kind. It feels like they truly want you to join in step with them, to feel the power of the dance with them. And the heartbeat seems to beat with your movements as opposed to you dancing with the heartbeat. And the others join in on your dance, the same flow, the same tempo, the same steps. There is power here. There is a way for you to get what you want here. And you feel a sort of bitter joy coming from the heart, in that almost feel like it is happy to have helped you with what happened, with the story you read. How it took care of that for you, took care of him for you. And then you wake up.
Oh my. Okay. Probably a bit startled. Is anyone there?
Did anyone stay with Helena after she fainted, or did you just take her to her room and then go to your own?
Freddy is probably creepy enough to watch people while they sleep, but I don't think he did in this case.
So noted.
Yeah, Roderick would have, because he was the one carrying her back, he would have laid her in her room, made sure she was comfortable, and then headed back to his home.
Got it. I'm
What
alone.
about Loretta or Sister Rosalie?
I think every now and again, Loretta would check in on her. But she's not gonna stay like long. Just make sure that she's not dead.
As you do.
Fair enough.
Loretta's got the best bedside manner.
Of course.
Of course.
I would have been switching between Helena and the librarian, the keeper of Hush House.
Yes.
Because he's still injured and in bed rest, and
Yeah. You gotta sleep too, though.
Did Sister Rosalie get any sleep last night?
honestly, probably not, because two people that she's cared about are essentially injured. One of which is actually injured, but psychologically damaged is what Helena is right now. To Sister Rosalie.
Fair.
I'm broken.
I will make a note of that. It is the later morning. Everyone retired and slept fairly hard because while the fight was fairly brief, the stress of it all and the occult pressure of two rituals being done back to back was exhausting, leaving everyone to wake up at about 9:30, possibly closer to 10 o'clock in the morning.
So what's everybody else doing?
What would everyone like to begin the morning with today? The dining hall is, of course, open to all of you. But if anyone has anything they would like to take care of ahead of time or do before heading down there, feel free to let me know.
Roderick would be making his way to breakfast, probably looking a little worse for wear.
Roderick, as being the first one to head down there, would find something odd. The librarian is out of bed and is setting down a fresh, large platter at several seats of full English breakfast with tea and coffee options.
And
morning.
at first he wouldn't question it. He'd just kind of sit down and take off his glasses to rub at the bridge of his nose before he does a little bit of a double take. Are you feeling well enough to do that?
Close enough. I, again, must apologize for the state you saw me in the other day. It was not becoming of one within the hush house.
I don't. At least to me, you don't need to apologize about that. I would like a coffee, please, though.
As you wish. And he pours a pot of very dark, very strong coffee.
Oh, good. How are you feeling now?
Recovering. Not as strong as I was, but definitely better than yesterday. I feel in probably another day's time I will be back to full capacity as the caretaker of the hush house.
Oh, here's to good healing, he'll say as he picks up the coffee and takes a drink.
And he will do the same for his own cup, which he just completely downs, despite the fact that the coffee looks like it just came off the fire. Who would like to arrive at breakfast next?
I think I will with Helena whenever she's ready for that.
I don't know how ready she's gonna be to face people right now, but she'll go. Maybe not so put together this time.
As you both arrive, you see Roderick, and you also see the librarian. The librarian who is out of bed despite having been told constantly to go back to bed after trying to get up.
What did I tell you? You need to go back in bed. And no coffee. It's bad for the healing process.
Well, says you.
And who's the one who's actually medically trained here?
He just raises his hand.
I as well.
Roderick's going to get very distracted by his breakfast.
You really should be resting, sir.
I'll keep to light work today. Don't worry. I won't be leaving the hush house anytime soon.
And what about you, Sister Rosalie? Have you slept any at all?
No, I've been taking care of both of you, which is why he needs to get back to bed and you need to eat.
But I will. I'm not quite hungry, but you need to rest.
It's okay. There were some times on the Isles where I had to stay with the mothers for quite a while. Labor can be a very long process.
And perhaps if we're able to take it easy today, I could watch over you while you rest. Sorry, that was odd.
It's all right. You don't need to. It's okay.
I had a letter. Where? Did I drop it?
You mean this one? And the librarian pulls from his jacket a letter that looks like it had gotten dropped at one point, but he retrieved it.
Oh, yes, thank you. she'll
Of
go
course.
accept it. Not quite ready to open it after yesterday, but she'll take it. Does anyone else need anything?
I myself am quite fine, though if I can assist before I head back to bed, and he looks to Sister Rosalie. Just let me know.
Don't worry, I will. It's part of our deal for me being here.
Bring
And
me
it's,
some-
it's about this time that Loretta and Frederick, if they wished, could join the others at the dining room.
I actually don't think Loretta's going to be joining them for breakfast this morning.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, if she's absent after like 30 minutes of Frederick also being there, I am going to go check in on her.
Does Frederick join the others for this morning?
Frederick dead.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, Luca's dead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
I asked if Frederick was going to join the others for breakfast this morning.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I was a little space. Oh wow, I'm great at this. Pardon. Yes, I think that is probably his plausible next step here.
Excellent. Is there anything that he wishes to do or possibly think on before heading there?
Yesterday, he blew up a snake with a pipe bomb. Giant snake monster thing. So he's probably waking up, and he sits in his bed, and he kind of looks around at the items in his room that he constructed this improvised device with. I'm thinking, I kind of did not really want to be here to be blowing up snakes and stuff, and that's sort of where I'm at. And he's thinking about how, despite his attempt to sort of escape violence, and even getting wrapped in this weird occult mystery, he is sort of exposed to more violence now, and in fact he is instrumental to it. Despite the fact that he thinks it, is maybe worthwhile, it's also like not his favorite in this moment. And he gets up, and he puts the thought away, and he heads down.
Noted. You find everyone save Loretta currently in the dining room, enjoying a bit of breakfast. The librarian is there as well, though he doesn't seem to be eating much. He just seems to be drinking coffee. Good morning, Mr. Perler.
Morning.
Luca, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Oops, hello?
There you are.
There you are.
Sorry, I really need to be using like a different key for my toggle.
If you said anything after good morning, we did not get it.
No, I really don't think I did. So just remind me who all is at the breakfast table at this point?
Everyone except for Loretta. Everyone seems to be eating or drinking tea or coffee. The only one that doesn't seem to be eating at the moment is the librarian himself.
Okay.
Though he does have a very full plate in front of him that does keep being pushed towards him
But
by
yeah,
his sister Rosalie.
and no.
I guess the next question then is what all happened to Loretta?
It hasn't come down yet.
Here, I'll go check in on her in her room.
Would you like me to come with you?
No, you need to eat and drink water and then go back to bed.
I
Say with
right.
you, Mr. Librarian.
If it appeases you.
Thank you.
It's altogether too early for gentlemen to be walking into ladies' rooms, so I think I'll be staying here.
Good man.
You'll get a little bit of a surprised look from now, but a good look, not a you're weird, just a oh.
And with that, we will follow Sister Rosalie heading up to Loretta's quarters. Loretta, what are you currently up to this morning?
She's in the library.
Oh.
That would explain why she hasn't come down to join the others. Is she looking for anything specific or just perusing?
So she is looking for specifically she's looking for books on like summoning. We just summoned some pretty heavy entities that are tied in with the hours, and it is something that has absolutely 100% piqued her interest. And she wants to do it and be better. And see if there are ways to summon things that are stronger in order to help us in our.
Okay. Give me a roll of... I'll take a roll of widely read, just to see if you might find specific, like, different types of books that you might have heard have some sort of take on that kind of act.
Three.
Just straight up 3, huh?
Yep.
Well, damn. You are looking about the library, especially the area which has a lot more books that are a little bit more esoteric, a lot more for those who know more of the occult as opposed for those who are trying to begin to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And you do find a book that seems to be somewhat shoddily put together,
Mm-hmm.
and old, and with a binding that is very bright white, and when you touch it, it almost feels cold. Like it almost, like just touching it almost makes you makes your spine shiver.
Excellent.
And when you pull the book down, it doesn't seem to have a proper title. You only see 4 letters on it. N-U-M-A.
Is there any anything about those letters, about the acronym, word, whatever it may be, that rings sort of familiar with Loretta?
Give me a roll of, I will accept widely read, or I will also take night arts or bright arts.
Okay.
Each will give different information.
All right. I will do night arts.
Very well.
$84. That is a pass.
Excellent. As you think on it, you think of what this could mean, and you remember a tale you heard about Brunkrug. How, given its location geographically and within the histories, the interconnected different times of the world, you know that it especially feels the effects of a very brief, what is called a season, but it doesn't really have much of a place in the year. It's a season called Numa, also called the Labyrinth season. You remember being told that Numa is akin to a season where time is a river and memory is a winged bird, where things that should not grow do, and people who are uninitiated fade away. It is a time when it is easiest to call on different entities, different people that might be within the Mansis. And it's also when it would be easiest to make certain deals. But it only comes around once after several seasons in Brownikrug. But when you open the book and begin reading, you can immediately tell that this is a book that tells you how to try to petition for Numa to begin sooner than it should.
And upon reading it, she would start to take notes of things that she would need to try to summon this season to start. Any sort of physical objects she would need, mental states she would need to find herself in, sacrifices that might need to be made, and begins to note. And I assume that at some point or another, when Sister Rosalie eventually finds her, she's going to find Loretta basically like unresponsive, just nose deep into the book, taking notes. Like she's almost completely like a zombie.
With a bit of distance. But like she's gonna like stretch out and lean a little bit and then tap Loretta on the shoulder.
Absolutely no answer. It's almost like there's something in her that's feeding into this like it's like when somebody who's addicted to something finally gets their fix after being without for so long. Nothing is going to stop her.
You said you were doing this for summoning, correct?
You don't know that.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, Sister Rosalie wouldn't know that.
Shit. Loretta, dear. And as she continues not responding, I am then going to try to take the book from her.
And Loretta, the moment that she sees the book beginning to move, is going to reach and grab the wrist of, not even like looking up from the book, just reach and grab hold of the wrist of Sister Rosalie.
Abadoth, would you please do something about this?
I wouldn't if I were you. And when you look up at her, her eyes kind of look sunken and like she hasn't slept all night.
So we can join each other in that boat. Loretta, would you like to take a small little break and get some coffee, or would you like me to bring coffee and a biscuit to you?
What time is it? And she'll look down at her watch.
Mr. Library.
Shoot, I've been up for hours now.
Yes.
And she'll heel the book back to her side. And close it.
Everybody else is at breakfast. Do you want to join us?
I'm all set right now. I'm not all that hungry. Yesterday's adventure.
Nobody said you had to eat.
And she closes her notebook and slides it back into like her little side bag. It might be worth it. Maybe. And she'll take the book and put it in her and like shove it in her bag as well. It might be good to get out of the library for maybe a minute just to get some coffee. And to
check in on Helena and Frederick and Roderick.
Yeah.
Sister Rosalie is gonna stick out her arm. She's probably a bit shorter than Loretta, but she's still gonna stick out her arm.
And she'll rise from her chair. And does that little, like, when you're so exhausted you can barely, like, stand up straight. So she, like, teeters back and forth a little bit. And
that's when Rosalie goes to just fully support you. It's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. Let's get something small to eat, and then you can have all the coffee you want.
Oh, I don't eat much.
It's okay. We're gonna start going towards the kitchen, or where everybody else is.
And like there is a brief moment that as you know, they begin to kind of like head towards the door. Loretta just, her eyes just scan the walls again until her head like eventually turns back to look at the seat that she was sitting in. Cold blank stare. And immediately like snaps out of it and looks back to Sister Rosalie. How is the little one doing?
She's doing all right.
Good.
So is the librarian, though that stubborn man is refusing to listen to some of the more basic medical advice I've been trying to give him, like resting, especially after being so physically injured.
Oh, I can get him to go to bed.
Oh,
if that's what you need.
He's going back.
I can make him go back faster, I think.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'll let you know if I need you to do it.
And, all right. Yeah.
As you say this, the librarian walks in with a fresh pot of tea and coffee. I'm just dropping this off, and then I will be heading back to bed, Sister Rosalie. No need to worry about me.
Thank you.
Loretta, give me a roll of intelligence.
Yep. 19.
You have spent a little more time with the librarian, getting to know him and getting to know some of his more minor movements of his face and like the way he sort of speaks. You think he might be lying to Sister Rosalie.
She is just going to look at him. That same deadpan, cold face expression. And lean in. Bed. Now.
He just like blinks for a moment and then grumbles a little bit and heads off in the direction of his quarters.
Do not make me follow you.
He just looks back with a bit of a smirk and just winks at you before leaving the room.
See? Easy as pie. Now he's actually going to bed.
You already said it was. It's okay.
Yo, Sister Rosalie, you're so trusting to people. It's very refreshing.
Well, you have to believe the people that you work with.
Yeah,
You
well,
never know when something bad is going to happen.
fair, but you know,
Faith
both
is
know.
important.
He was hesitating a little bit. I just thought I'd give him a little bit of a push.
Oh,
Sometimes you need it.
I'm sure I could have had one of his other friends do it too.
No need to worry.
Alright, take a seat now and I'll go get you a cup of coffee, okay?
And black.
Alright.
Hello.
Okay.
Are you planning on opening that letter anytime soon, or are you going to just let it sit for a bit?
I think after a couple minutes, just kind of sitting there, also not really eating. And if nobody's paying particular attention, she'll just tentatively open it up.
You open up the letter. And you do get a very brief scent of the sort of old-timey, more floral perfume that your grandmother still wears. And you get her handwriting. Helena, I do pray that you will be home soon. I had prayed that you were saved by the horrors of the water. It is good to hear that you have made landfall at a place where you are taken care of, and that there are those who look out for you. The captain, Welland, I would love to send him a stipend as thanks for taking such good care of you. And you do actually see that in the envelope there are a few American dollars. I do not know what exactly the Hush House is, but I hope that it is a wondrous place for you, that you are taking care of yourself and enjoying it. See this as a bit of a vacation, maybe. I know that the way you were brought there was horrible, but I think that you truly could use time away from it all. I've also sent you a few extra dollars in hopes that there is a decent exchange rate there. If need be, I will send more. Just let me know. I do hope that the librarian, as you put it, is taking excellent care of you and paying you well as if you were to be working in his garden. As for Daniel, it seems that you do not need to worry about him. It seems he has gotten into some trouble with the law and has been suffering the consequences. I will do what I can to keep you updated if the news does not do as much over there. But I will let Eliana know that you are right, that she needs not worry because you are in good hands. And Hades has been given plenty of extra treats in your stead. I do hope that whatever has been happening, your life will be for the better for it. Love, your Gran.
Oh. Her emotions have been running the gamut. Probably a bit pale. Probably a little teary-eyed. But not really saying anything. I'm just gonna put the letter back in its envelope and just kind of hold on to it.
Is the scent of the letter enough that anybody else is suddenly aware that there's some old people perfume in the room, or is it very subtle?
It was brief but intense because the spritzer goes quite heavy. So I would say that most of the people that are sitting at least nearby to Helena could get that scent.
At least briefly.
At least briefly.
Okay, I guess I'll glance over then. Is there any look on Helena's face? Anything to see over there?
Well, she's probably got the letter pressed to her chest. She's got her other fingers probably just pressed against her mouth. She's kind of looking off a ways. She maybe crying just a little bit.
Okay.
But she's not saying anything.
I think, once again, this is going to be a strong Frederick minding his own business moment.
I figured.
Letters that make people cry is nothing to question or to ask about. But
It's kind of hard to tell if it's a good cry or a bad cry, because it's kind of a bit of both. Not like sob, just like, well, my eyes are leaking. Whoops.
So, just a quick inventory of goals here for everybody else at the table. The librarian is recovering, and while he's still healing, he's kind of on his own 2 feet, and he's a lot less incapacitated than he was. Is that right?
Seems to be.
Okay. The horrible snake thing is dead. I don't think we have actually found any kind of moors or beach-related item that was going to help us put a stop to the fungus yet, though. Is that right?
You found a number of artifacts while you were within the moors when you took them from the nests of the serpents. The items at the beach could possibly help. A lot of these are associated with an aspect associated with doors, so perhaps they could be used to prevent a particular door from opening or close and lock a door.
Oh, right. There was an icon of Saint Agnes, I believe.
Yeah, Loretta has that.
I don't know. Oh, right. The thing that Frederick found was a corpse. There's a reason I kind of haven't marked that down in my inventory, as I don't.
Amazing.
That's not very helpful. So we've got the icon of Saint Agnes. Is there anything else that was handy that we had that we received from that? This is a question more for the players than it is for the DM.
We had.
You did get a Frangaclive, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, the Frangaclava, yeah. Okay.
Bless you.
And I do believe that this Rosalie has a set of glasses that peer into the world that the other librarian came from.
I also have a magic mirror. I don't exactly know what it does. I think it allows you to... Actually, we never discovered what it does. But I do believe that it is bright arts related, though.
It is. It is more associated with the lantern than with the knock, though still powerful.
Lantern is my thing, yeah.
Okay.
Which I did not... I think when we did see the body, I did not disclose or give up the glasses or the mirror. Or, well, no. You guys gave me the glasses, but I did not disclose I found the mirror.
Correct.
So, you don't know that I have that, but I do.
Okay. And no other hugely important texts that reveal anything about what our options are here, except for maybe something that Helena is reading? No. Oh,
I mean, I was given a book.
Loretta is reading something right now. Not that not that my character knows about that. Okay.
Right.
The librarian is still at the dinner table or breakfast table?
He had just left, though. He left recently enough that you could probably catch him.
Okay. Any other intellectuals at the table, as opposed to my character, who's borderline illiterate?
I do believe everyone is currently at the table, though I believe Roderick was tucking into the breakfast after everyone was just like, "Hey, you should be in bed." He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna stay out of this."
I know Roderick's eating.
Yeah.
Is there a specific reason why you're asking for the intellectuals? Because that would be like
Pretty much everybody.
That would be like the most obvious ones. Though would be, I think, Loretta and Rosalie.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess
Helena is too, because she helped to run her grandma's bookshop.
Freddie's like picking at his eggs and sipping his coffee and thinking, you know, we've got all these variables in play. The snake is dead. We have some tools. I think the Frangaclav is one of the tools that we know about. We don't know about the mirror. I mean, Freddie doesn't know about the mirror anyways. And we know that they are useful in relation to killing this or locking away this elder god, but he doesn't really have the wherewithal to put 2 and 2 together here. So he's thinking, who is he going to ask to opine about what they think they should do next? Because you could give Freddie all of these tools, and his bright arts / night arts are just not high enough to like concoct a solution with them. You know what I mean?
Mm. Well, does he want to ask anybody present?
Yes, I think we're going to lead with Sister Rosalie, because Sister Rosalie seems the strangest of everybody.
The highest in one of the occults. Yes. We're all present.
Say, sister, we've recovered that sainted icon, killed that horrible beastie. Librarian's all right, but I don't know if we're any nearer our goal than we were before necessarily.
I'm just gonna cut over table. I don't think you guys know about the Saint Agatha thing yet.
Okay.
Because
right.
Loretta found that one.
I love metagaming. Me personally, I love metagaming. Sorry. So maybe I'm going to try that one more time. Say, sister, we've got this Trangiclave, and the snake thing is dead now. And between you and I'm not really sure how we use whatever that is to actually.
There's the glasses that see into the other history that was taken over by the Crown Grow. Is there a candle in here?
There is.
Is it going to be big enough for Lapidoth to come through?
There is enough light here that you could probably get him either end the candle, or if you wanted to, like, perhaps close some of the windows so that way most of the light is focusing on one mirror that is also here. He could possibly appear through that, as he appeared through a mirror the first time you spoke to him.
Yeah. We talked in the mirror, and then we also talked while he was sort of like fire.
He took over the light of the candle that you were praying at.
Yeah. I'm gonna focus it. Close curtain. I'm like, she's not even gonna like explain what she's doing. She's gonna close the curtains in like a specific fashion so that it is focused on the mirror. She's gonna call out Lapidoth's name. Everett Lapidoth?
Everett Lapidoth, indeed.
Everett Lapidoth, can you come here, please?
And before Frederick even has a chance to wonder what the fuck his sister is talking about, who the hell Everett Lapidoth is, he hears behind him a deep southern drawl. Well, hello there, sister. So good to speak to you again.
It's good to speak to you again, too. Let me introduce you to some of my companions in our goal of sorts to aid the librarian. This is Frederick. She'll gesture to Frederick. Roderick, Helena, and Loretta.
And everyone who wants to look where the voice is do see a fairly tall, well-groomed man in a pinstripe black and yellow suit just standing in the mirror, even though there is no person to give such a reflection there in the room.
Huh. Hello.
Good morning.
And I'm also going to then pull out my mirror. Hand mirror.
I'm you got lucky and found a good little trinket there.
Yes, let me set it up in a better fashion so that mind you, I don't really know how you work, but if you are able to somehow just walk between the two, then let me set it up so that you can. And I'm gonna just set it up so that if you want to like appear to be on the table in the hand mirror, that the like candle or like lamp is like reflected brightly in it.
I do appreciate it. And he moves from the rather small mirror where he was appearing rather tiny and into that hand mirror, though it is more like a profile where you see his face but not the rest of him.
Oh.
It's a special mirror.
Very special. I do not believe that you called me here for coffee and tea, much as I do sometimes wish that I could still enjoy such beverages. How may I assist you, sister, and your associates? And he gives a nod to everyone, though he gives a much longer and somewhat playful nod to Loretta.
Do you know what the librarian's current goal is?
Well, last I checked, it was to prevent the crowned growth from making a hold in this particular history.
Well, it's made a bit of a hole already. We're trying to stop it and push it back. And then she's going to take out the glasses, explaining that essentially this is the hole.
I see.
Alder Marion's quite upset about it. As you well know.
She tends to be quite upset about a lot of things. But I personally like this history, despite my issues with it. It is still a net positive. So I assume that you are trying to find a more direct way to make this happen?
With all of our current abilities and items and such, yes. Whatever leading information that you have of that, then.
Well, I do believe that if you are to try to close a door, one would want to have more power with the aspect of knock, the aspect of wounds and doors as it is. More trinkets for that would be of great assistance, especially if you're planning some grand ritual. Though I think one of the things that would assist you best would be to try to get the key to nowhere, or one of them at least.
Is there one on the island?
The island of Brankrug? In a way. Not as such that it is quite easy to get right now. There is a particular time, though, where the protector of the Hush House, not the caregiver, but the actual protector, can make her appearance. She holds one of the keys to nowhere.
Is the protector the one who moves and changes things in the house?
No, the librarian is one who tends to move within the house and take care of it internally. The protector stays without. She tends to keep anyone wanting to take what is not theirs from the Hush House and tells them to rethink their actions. She protects the place. She protects the Hush House. She would protect the librarian if he stayed within.
Yet, of course, he didn't. Is there a way to summon her?
There is a particular time where she is able to come physically to the house. But that time is a rather brief and very esoteric time called the Labyrinth Season. It comes about every several seasons or so for a singular day, though I have been told that one can petition one of the hours to call upon it sooner.
And if you don't mind my butting in, how is it you recommend we petition an hour?
I know how.
Ah, just what I thought. I could see that light shining from behind your eyes, darling.
I have been doing some research. There is a way to manipulate the hours and such where we can get what we want. I've been taking notes on it. It's gonna take a little bit of time for me to completely master, but if I'm able to get my bearings in place and be left to my devices and allowed to study, we can get her here. And she smiles.
Right. Of course. Same way you contact anyone, I guess.
Does anybody else have any sort of information that they're withholding, whether it's an item or something that can help us possibly stop ground growth?
over the table. I don't think I do.
Oh, I don't have any items.
No. Not that I'm aware of.
Everett just looks to Helena and just sort of stares at her for a moment before moving back to the other mirror where you could actually see him, and he just starts beating on his chest the same beat that is in her head. You are stronger than you know, my dear.
But that...
You have your own way of changing the world around you and making it flow as you see fit. Do not hide that. Do not deny yourself that you are greater than you are.
I didn't realize it could help in this instance, but I don't know that it's safe. It did something horrible.
Horrible is subjective.
It's all my fault.
Maybe it is. Maybe they had it coming. They probably had it coming. And he just like grins, and his teeth are shining to the point that it almost like looks it's hard to look at him.
She looks away. That wasn't my choice to make.
Then the Thunderskin misunderstood. I do apologize for that. It is a rash hour. It is one focused on emotion as opposed to logic, like the one I ascribe to. Perhaps it saw a way to give you freedom, and it gave a hammer as its method.
She'll just fiddle with her ring.
Deserved. Undeserved. There's nothing you can do about it now. You made the choice you made.
I didn't.
To entreat the Thunderskin or not. That's always been, I assume, the cost of doing business in little cabals like this. Shadowy forces and unearthly powers. I think you, as well as I, as well as anybody at this table, knows that it's not all... It's not all easy. It never is. Not for you, for anyone else, not for men like me, or for occultists.
All I did was dance. I didn't.
There's no making a different decision now. You must move forward. It's true of all of us. And it will have been in vain if you don't.
And if you let it sit and fester, it begins to consume you. The best that you can do is take it as a blessing that you are in good health, and whatever happened, happened. And move on. Because if you don't, your guilt will be your biggest enemy. And I'll tell you, there are some forces that'll look at your guilt and eat you from the inside.
Or they'll puppet you, play you like an instrument. In that right, my reckoner friend. And he just looks to Frederick.
Frederick doesn't really have anything to say, I don't think.
You, the quiet one that has been tucking into his breakfast. Roderick, was it?
And Roderick will nod. He's just kind of been watching these interactions.
You tend to observe and suss things out in your head from what other people do around you, don't you?
I try to take notes, yeah.
I can respect that. I just ask that if you have some ideas, do feel free to share. I do think that you and your soul are going to be instrumental in making this all happen. I can see the way that your light yearns to get to places long forgotten, to shine on secrets and illuminate what has been left behind, to open doors that perhaps should not be open. I do think that you'll be quite helpful here.
Everything does keep coming back to doors.
Such as it is. Doors are integral in almost everything we do. Light shines, the forge is fine. The forge smelts and creates and destroys. But doors have infinite possibilities to us. And if you all play your cards right, there are infinite possibilities for you all as well.
I'll just nod.
Now, is there anything I can do to assist all of you? Anything I could clear up, or anything I could do to help?
Yeah, I have just one question.
Yes.
Who are you?
Everett Lapidoth, Esquire. And I believe that you are Loretta Payne.
Rain.
Rain. Derp. I believe that you are Loretta Rain.
Flynn the human,
Yes.
I have approximate knowledge of many things.
Loretta Payne makes me sound like I'm in fucking Doug the Bounty Hunter.
That's fair.
Jesus Christ. I'm happy.
Huh. Good to know that this is for this particular history, you're successful. I believe that you would have more beyond just wanting to know my name, my dear.
I've got a lot I want to know. But I always have to assume that knowledge comes at a price. Ain't that right?
True enough. But my prices are reasonable. I focus more on the knowledge side of the lantern as opposed to the Colonel's particular way about it.
Well, then color me interested. Different day.
Fair enough. You know how to contact If that is all, then I believe I shall be taking my leave. I wish you all the absolute best of luck. And, dear sister, again, wonderful speaking with you. Do let me know if I can do anything to assist your church. And he gives a small bow and just steps to the side, off the frame, and is gone. Loretta has also been studying the ways to cause Numa to appear earlier than it should. So
yeah, I'm gonna assist Loretta as best as I can.
Loretta was also name dropped. Do any of us, like, is that a name that anybody's recognize?
Legacy is Loretta's familial name, something that people within occult or other circles recognize.
People who are heavy into the occult scene would know who she is.
Okay, break that down for me.
Then
For Roderick and Sister Rosalie, Loretta, you have the floor to say what they would know about the Rain family name.
So the Rains are a very, very wealthy lineage of occult researchers based in New Orleans in Louisiana. They hold, for lack of a better term, they hold domain of one of the biggest occult libraries in America, right in the heart of New Orleans. Many people pay like exorbitant amounts of money in order to study and be taught by the Rain family. And it is rumored that that occult library recently had shifted management a little bit, per se. Still in the family, kind of, but not in the same direct line. But the reason is unknown. But all that is known is that the previous owners are dead.
Oh.
And so you can kind of put two and two together that the previous owners were probably Loretta's parents.
that's not why she had so much luggage, is it? Not bodies.
Her Royal Highness has much luggage.
It does explain all the books, though.
Mhm.
I was just curious if Nell knew, because I remember at our first session saying that I possibly recognized her from similar circles.
Yeah. The reason that you were able to kind of recognize her is because her family was so wealthy, they could afford to travel very often and found themselves going on vacations to places like Salem, to places like New York, semi frequently.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
But yeah, so her family, very widely known in the occult sphere, as researchers, collectors. Loretta is no different.
Oh, cool.
So I have a quick sort of meta DM question, just sort of taking inventory of things that have happened before. That would have been the first time Frederick had met Lapidoth, right? Or have I lost the plot?
No, that was the first time you had ever met Lapidoth. That was the first time most of you had actually ever gotten a chance to meet Everett Lapidoth.
And I was in my dressing gown.
Okay, interesting.
You harlot.
She's definitely been called that before.
My favorite term for the period is flapper.
Alrighty, so what y'all doing?
How, so Rosalie's gonna help Loretta, and especially with the question of, like, what do we need to do to summon Numa? Or bring on the Season of Labyrinth earlier? Yeah.
The first step that Loretta was able to get to with her studying of this book is that there is a particular kind of ink that is necessary when calling for the Labyrinth season, and that is a special ink called porphyrin. It is a ink that is a glowing crimson mauve and venerated in secret by a confraternity of corresponding individuals of various occult practices.
I assume that this ink is not easy to attain.
Not exceptionally so, though you also know, though one of you knows that the alchemy lab is quite well stocked with all kinds of things.
So I'm making a grocery store trip to the alchemy lab.
I'll assist.
Alrighty. So who all is going to head off to the alchemy lab to assist with actually making the ink?
Rosalie.
I think Frederick is going to tag along. Can I? This is a little later on from the scene to do it. Can I roll for fascination somehow after having seen Everett?
I do think that after seeing him and just taking in this really overtly esoteric thing, those who are not more well versed in this will have to go ahead and roll fascination or roll for determination. So I'll also ask for a roll from Helena.
Okie dokie. I have fascination right now.
And unfortunately, your determination is currently at a -10.
Oh no. That's not gonna be good.
Oh, perfect. I was jonesing for some fascination. Okay, hold on a minute. That sounds silly, but I was kind of hoping. I have a cool 40 determination out of a 73 roll. I'm going to take it. Can I make a special request about my fascination?
Absolutely, go right ahead.
I think Frederick has been dealing with all of these people, and he has grown a little exhausted of a lot of them.
Oh.
Not like they're terrible, but he's thinking none of them have been in the motherfucking trenches like I have. And then he meets Everett. He's like, oh, this guy's, he just like me for real. Because Everett is also a bit of a psycho. And
Okay.
I ask to have a fascination that functions a little bit like a temptation?
I would say absolutely. Is this in what direction is this temptation aimed?
Definitely in a lanterny way, and I guess it's a very cursory curiosity of saying, how do I become like Everett? Now, for those of you who know anything about Cultist Simulator, you'll know that becoming like Everett is a long, complicated process, and Frederick would not know that at this point, but he's curious now. And curiosity, as everyone knows, is always a big goddamn problem.
Absolutely. And it is the beginning of things, so we shall see how that winds on.
Can I write that down as fascination draw to ascendancy?
Absolutely. And Helena.
Well, My determination is a 25. You said it's at a negative 10, and I rolled a 47, so uh-oh.
Yep. So, there is one good thing to come out of this. Your level of fascination currently, given the fact that it was brought on by assisting with something to bring in an aspect of the kernel, does not increase. However, you do feel now that the kernel has taken notice of you.
Ugh. Now Senpai noticed me.
You almost feel it's more like a bestial, almost animalistic noticing. Like a hound having your scent.
Oh no.
And we shall move on to the alchemy lab for whoever shall be joining Loretta. And if anyone is not joining, please let me know what you are going to be up to.
No, I think Freddy's tagging along. He's invested now.
I'll tag along just to see what's in the alchemy lab.
Notice. And is Helena going to be coming along as well, or is she in her fields at the moment?
If they asked her to, she would, but she is very much in her fields and probably otherwise would go either to the garden or back to bed. Like, not to sleep, but to just huddle up under the covers.
Fair enough.
Poor baby.
So, the alchemy lab itself is well stocked and very clean. It's akin to one part chemist's lab and one part dispensary, and given its location not too far from the garden, you get the idea that a lot of the things that are used here, some of it was probably grown here within the hush house. Though there are also several kinds of things that you don't recognize. There are, of course, the usual acids and bases that can be found in a lot of chemistry labs. For those of you who have a decent enough widely read score of about 60 or higher, you notice a lot of these that could be used for medical purposes, though then there are also other kinds of weird fluids and weird mixtures. There is a small glass of this vibrantly bluish white substance that almost looks like powder. Frederick knows this substance because it was what he poured into the pipe bomb that he had made that caused the little sister to freeze at some points and just the barest movement to cause its scales to shatter. There are small ampules and small vials of various fluids. One that looks to be it almost looks like a small ampule of what looks like milk. But even just getting closer to it, it exudes an air of being bitingly cold. There is all manner of things here. The ink itself requires powers associated with aspects of knock, though also aspects of things long forgotten, of things that only the moon remembers, and a sense of adventure, a sense of longing and exploration.
Would knock being my favorite or my major aspect have any effect here in looking for the sink?
Yes, please give me a roll of, let's go ahead with a roll of intelligence and then a roll of determination, if you're just going off of like what is the power, what is connected to you at a personal level.
Okie dokie.
Anyone else can also go ahead and give me rolls of widely read, night arts, or perhaps even horticulture or medicine to figure out how they might get something together.
I'm doing night arts.
Noted.
I passed on both rolls.
Okay.
And I passed on my night arts.
Excellent.
Can I roll horticulture and medicine?
I will allow it.
Okay, I'm gonna roll twice.
I
Then
think
can I also roll widely read?
Yes.
it's horticulture or medicine. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And nothing else.
I would also have accepted night arts.
Okay, night arts works. I've got a 35 in night arts.
I succeeded on my widely read.
Okay.
I got a
I
1
failed.
on my horticulture and a 27 on my medicine.
Okay.
So I succeeded both. I don't know if the 1 gets me anything extra special, but I feel proud of myself.
You should.
Well, with rolling a 1, you get the unique effect of God is winking. So, Sister Rosalie, you are immediately setting to grabbing things that are safe to utilize, that would not interact like very violently with others. Just putting together everything you know of chemical compounds from medicines, having to make some of your own things and make some of the things that you've had to use in your own work as a midwife and work as a medical somewhat professional.
Yeah, somewhat professional.
Somewhat. Loretta,
Mm-hmm.
you are very quickly, very easily going through the objects here. Some of them are very deep rooted in the powers of the hours and the manses. There are specimens of various insects that infect books, but that have likely been pulled out and have repurposed for alchemical works here. There are old types of flowers and other plants that don't grow in these lands, that have likely been shipped in from beyond, and you are able to very quickly start pulling things together. And you think that you've definitely got what you need to make the poi firing. And then there is the assistance of Roderick. Roderick, you sort of empty your mind. Focus. Think about what reaches out to you, what calls out to you. Much as the way that Mr. Lapidoth had mentioned, you have purpose, you have power here. Thinking on the power that is deep within you, the connection to wanting to open what has been left locked and to find what has been forgotten. You start moving and taking the various things that have been pulled out, what seems to be most important to you just at a glance, going off of instinct almost. And you begin working. I would like everyone within the alchemy lab to give me a roll of night arts.
Including me?
Including you, especially you, actually. And your night arts is actually increased by 10 because of your level of dread.
Of course. 5% chance. I will check out the cards real quick that we have available.
Okie dokie.
46. Succeed?
The pin in the references channel is the one that's accurate?
The pin in the references channel, yes.
Fail.
Would Flower Maker apply to this? And
given that some of the things that you're utilizing are in fact petals, roots, and stems, then yes.
yeah, because when I think alchemy, I think like the natural ingredients being plant-based.
Absolutely.
I will use a D8 from Flower Maker.
Excellent.
All right, that is much better. That's a 77. So that's actually a crit, or
That is an astonishing
I forget what they're
success.
called. There we go. Astonishing.
And could I please get a roll of night arts from Mr. Frederick Perler?
So hold on just a second. And you don't mean the first one that I made to contribute. This is another reactive.
This is a more reactive one, yes.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page there.
Yes.
Let's see. Uh, 31 of 35, so I think I'm accomplishing something somehow.
You are. As Roderick begins to work, begins to move with this certain drive that almost seems natural, despite the fact he has never mentioned work within an alchemy lab or even a chemistry lab. You just watch him move and you see these light movements at almost at the edge of his being. You see him reaching for an ampule only for it to be seemingly nudged by a long spindly finger, pushed towards his hand where he would take it, not seeming to notice the things around him. Roderick, you yourself feel this presence, but it is comforting. It's as close to friendly as you think the presence of an hour could be. It does make you think of a presence akin to a mother, even if it is the mother of ants.
Okay.
You can feel not just her presence, but her joy at you working so well, at you working diligently for this. Sister Rosalie, this presence feels off. You know of the hours, you know that they tend to be working sometimes with, sometimes against each other. But this presence, it feels wrong. It feels darker than what you're used to, than what you think should be here. It just doesn't sit right with you. To the point where even as you feel the cognition of the mother of ants turn to take in your presence, it sends a shiver across your spine. And I would like you to please go ahead and mark down a level of dread that does not counteract the level of fascination that you have, as she is watching me.
Okay.
And for Frederick, you can see this presence. You can feel it. You sense it being there. And it is making you think. There is the ascension that Everett has achieved, yes. But is it the only one? Are there other options? Are there easier options? Are there better options?
Not if you want a winning smile.
It's just setting your mind alight at the moment with possibilities. And Loretta. This kind of power, this focus is odd. It's interesting that the Mother of Ants has taken such an interest in Roderick. Especially given that a fulgent has made itself known and communicable to Sister Rosalie. It's odd that investigators, that just these random visitors to the Hush House, would start having such attention from the hours, from the names, from longs. There's something unique about this group and about the timing of your arrival at the Hush House. Something that could open up a lot of doors that even go beyond your original ambitions if you play your cards right.
Loretta's got that blank space stare again. Intensely watching Roderick. Like she's in some sort of like trance, even though she's studying the reaction that the mother of ants seems to have towards him. She's in her own little, she's in her zone. She's in her own little unresponsive world.
So noted. Eventually it comes to the final steps of just making sure that the mixture of unique elements is brought to the correct temperature. And as the burner is turned on, you can feel everyone feel the power in this room. Even Helena, who is in the other room focusing on her own feelings and her own recovery, can feel power, can feel pressure from where the others went.
Oh my.
And soon enough, you find a small, basically a small inkwell's worth of this crimson mauve ink. Thick, and even just holding the inkwell in your hand, it feels like it has a pulse across your palm.
Do you mind? And without waiting for a response, Loretta's gonna try to reach out and take the vial.
If Roderick does not stop Loretta, then it is easy enough to take. There is no adverse reaction to her touch.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like her taking it would probably snap him out of the focus he was in, but he wouldn't stop her from taking it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Step 1's complete.
What's step 2 now?
I have yet to get that far into the book. I am going to retrieve to my favorite quarters to study. And when I find that out, I will get in contact with you all. And we can continue the process.
Sounds good.
All right.
No.
Just out of curiosity, which quarters are Loretta's favorite for studying? Are they hers? Are they perhaps someone else's?
Yeah, it's under Helena's bed. No.
Just dies under the bed.
No, she's gonna go.
Party.
Party of dread, party of two. She's gonna go sneak off and to the librarian's room.
Oh.
What?
Such a scandal this early in the morning.
I know.
Well, as we established, it was too early for a gentleman to go to a lady's room, but apparently not too early for a lady to go to a gentleman's room.
Yeah, no. I'm going to go check to make sure he's in bed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cue the Rocky Horror, in the bed, out of the bed sequence.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Perfect.
Same room, different lighting.
While she is headed to her favorite studying chambers, what are the others going to do? Starting with Sister Rosalie.
I'm gonna retreat to the chapel and pray and take care of it, and I also tried to clear my dread. I feel like that's Sister Rose's way of doing it.
Fair enough. What is Roderick going to be up to?
I am honestly not sure. I think I might peruse the library, looking for more information on Numa, possibly.
Fair enough. Give me a roll of widely read, if you would, please. And what is Frederick going to be up to now that the others have begun to head to their separate locations?
Success.
A couple of the items of import are sort of rattling around in his head mentally right now. The Frangaclav, the mirror, now this vial of porphyrin, you know what I mean.
A little glass vial.
He'll probably just go for a little walk and return to the breakfast table, which is, I'm sure, cleared or whatever by now, and look into the mirror that was placed there. Not the wildering mirror, which I assume Rosalie or whoever has already squirreled off with, but the original item that Everett manifested in, and he'll just give it a look and see himself in it, and kind of meditate on that image.
All right. And what is Helena up to currently? Has she just gone to her quarters to get some more bed rest and parse out everything that's happened to her?
Yeah, she'll be in her bedroom making no noise and pretending that she doesn't exist. Also, possibly, definitely feeling feels. And yeah.
I would like a determination roll from Frederick, Helena, and Sister Rosalie.
Do this to me.
Given that you all are focused and meditating, as opposed to it being reflexive, I will give you all a plus 10.
Even
Helena.
with
You hear that scratching under your bed?
I think that just brings my determination back to normal, so...
So wait, the librarian's bedroom is a doorway to underneath Nell's bed? What?
I mean, your walls.
I'm sorry, I need 1 minute. I'm going to step out here.
Okay.
I rolled a 9!
Hey!
Oh, just barely missed it.
So, we will begin with Roderick. Roderick, you're looking around for things about Numa. You find a few mentions of it in a couple books. There are certain forms of agave that actually grow within the timing of Numa in the Hush House, in the gardens. You find mentions of certain individuals that only show up within the timing of Numa, especially those that want to show up to call upon the patronage of the Hush House. And how there is It's almost like a thinning of the walls between the mantis and the natural world. How it's easier for people to open certain doors or close certain doors.
Would that mean it's also might also be easier to seal a door that's already been open rather than simply close it, like to make sure it doesn't get reopened?
With the correct work, the correct power and keys, yes. It would be much easier to seal it because it would be easier to find the correct place and put the power in where it is needed to prevent that doorway from opening again. So with the right key, and supposedly the key is held by the protector of the Hush House that only appears within Numa, then it would be easiest during that time to seal the door. It would be possible without it being Numa during the ritual's time, but it's easiest within Numa.
And you said it's a key that... Is it the key that appears during Numa, or the protector that holds the key that appears during Numa?
The protector that holds the key that appears during Numa.
Gotcha.
Assumingly, it would be that the key also appears because it goes where she goes if she hasn't lent it out. So, one and the same.
And this would most likely be Rowena from my earlier research?
It does seem like it would be Professor Rowena Hengerst from your earlier research, yes.
So that would make the key of the mayor.
Correct.
Hello, everybody. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Starting off with Sister Rosalie and Helena.
Mm-hmm.
You both are working to focus yourself and basically work to parse out everything that's happened and bring yourself back. Sister Rosalie, you find comfort in the light of the chapel, especially the light to the saints more associated with the lantern and the sun in rags. You find that the actual beams of light here, the flickering candlelight, is warm and comforting, and it disperses the shadow of the Mother of Ants that seems to almost be at the edge of your vision, just at the periphery of it. And you can choose either to remove the fascination and keep the dread, or to remove the dread but you will keep the fascination, given that it is light that is bringing you out of that dark place.
I am dropping the dread.
Noted. Helena.
Yes.
You still feel that beating in your soul, in your mind, but it is slower. It is getting to the point where it almost seems melancholic. Like the Thunderskin has discovered that it has taken your wishes wrongly. Almost a musical apology being brought to you. You can choose to, if you wish, to clear the level of fascination.
I don't know. It doesn't necessarily feel like the fascination is a bad thing.
It has its ups and downs.
I don't know. I can't make up my mind.
If you'd like, you can think on it and I can return to you.
Okay.
Mr. Perler, you are focused. You're meditating in front of this mirror where there was a individual. And then you hear the metallic flicking of a lighter. And in that mirror is the same individual. Had to get rid of all the hangers-on. Mr. Frederick, was it?
Frederick. Yes.
Mr. Perler. It is not often that I come and speak to those not more innately associated with my particular brand of the powers that be. But you fascinate me because you got an inkling, a sort of paleness to that light in your eyes and your soul, a chill that I am quite familiar with.
Mm-hmm. He's looking at Lapidoth, but he doesn't. His expression and his sort of lack of words don't really reflect any particular insight. He's looking at him like if he looks long enough, something will become very innately apparent to Frederick. And maybe that's not true. Maybe that's not actually true, but it certainly looks like he is convinced that just analyzing this guy is going to give him an answer somehow.
What exactly are you hoping to learn from this individual within the mirror, this manless reflection, as it were?
Well, that's kind of the problem with wanting answers but not knowing the questions. I think the answer to this is unempathetic sort of psychos, killers, who are often lantern entities, or winter or edge entities, do not have a very comfortable place in the world, and they are sort of perpetually at odds with it. But a Lapidoth here has found a niche of some kind in the occult, and that's worked out pretty well for him. So, in a word, I guess, I think Frederick is looking for retirement, which in part is why he came to Brandkrug, as an alternative to being out in the mainland and in the throes of the worst of it. He's here in this quiet little village.
Indeed. Mr. Efford Lapidoth is just sort of watching with a small and almost emotionless smile on his face. Like it's just kind of plastered there.
I think for somebody like Everett, making eye contact is more than just eye contact,
Mm-hmm.
Do you like it in the mirror?
I do. There are a lot of things that I don't have to worry about no more. There are a lot of things that I miss. Though the things that I miss are vastly outweighed by the joys of the fact that I will never die. Well, not by age, at least. Time is fairly meaningless to me now. I am what, in our circles, is called a long. Someone who has found through our own works a way to reach immortality.
Sounds like the only club worth being a part of.
True, but there are different branches of this club. Some of us become beings of light and thought, such as myself. Some of us, like your dear friend, Mr. Welland, good captain that he is, become beings of strong will and stronger metallic body, like a walking statue. And yet there are other ways, colder, silent ways, deadly, precise ways. It just depends on what exactly you want to get out of your immortal power.
That's not the truth, though, is it? It's not the whole truth, anyways. If it was, it wouldn't be an exclusive club, would it?
Perhaps. What do you think you are looking for? What type of whole truth are you exploring?
I don't want to have to be here anymore. I don't want the drudgery. I don't want the bloodshed. I want to be free from all of that. I want to politely depart. But departing is not a polite matter. You accomplished that, though, didn't you? And here you are, ever the more polite for it.
Like I said, I tend to focus on the knowledge aspect of things, though Lantern is also associated with an individual who embodies unkindness. Cruelty is there, though it tends to be less visceral in this shape. There are also ways for there to be a departure that leads to one that is silent and still and cold.
I've been silent and still and cold my whole life, and I've resented it my whole life. I'll take just about anything else, believe you me.
Then I wish you the absolute best of luck. I just think that if you are hoping to find a way to depart that is not cold and still, and you are not wanting, perhaps, if you are wanting perhaps to avoid excessive amounts of bloodshed, while not being in this world as it is, you might want to turn your eyes towards deeper kind of esotericism. Or perhaps to start with minimizing your time in this world. There are those beings that I spoke of that only really appear during Numa. The ones that only ever come to the Hush House during that time. They are such beings. They limit their time as they work elsewhere to begin finding their other ways. Perhaps you could do something akin to that to begin with.
Will you entertain one more question?
Always.
If you found what you have by learning, and you can share that knowledge, what stops you now from tutoring me or tutoring anyone?
Tutelage is not exactly something that is... How do I put this? We are not exactly allowed to openly say this is what you should do. The whole purpose of it, apparently, is to discover on your own, blind as one does when they do not even know how to begin. I can only give you bits of guidance. I cannot direct you entirely, my friend.
Them's the rules, then. All right.
Such as it is. Though again, if I can offer guidance, you have ways to call me.
I might just have to be in touch. Bye now, Mr. Lapidas. Take care.
Farewell, Mr. Perler. And he just takes a puff on a large cigar and steps off out of the way. Oddly enough, you can smell the tobacco, even though he wasn't physically there.
Okay. I think that is probably the end of this scene for Mr. Perler.
I agree. And so we shall move to the librarian's quarters. Does Loretta knock, or does she just barge on it?
She'll be polite. And she'll knock.
Come in.
She opens the door.
And he is in bed, though he looks like he does look like he's still wearing his clothes, so it looks like he might not have been in bed. And he looks at you and he's like, "Oh, Loretta, thank goodness. I thought it was Sister Rosalie."
Don't worry, I won't tell. But you're real bad at lying, you know that?
I thought it did quite well. Sister Rosalie didn't seem to catch on to it.
Maybe I think you're bad at lying, but you know, maybe she thought that you were perfect at it. Who knows? You weren't really in bed, were you?
As much as a being who is within the hush house at once can be.
Understood. I getting a little bit hoping to get a little bit of a quiet research in. You alright if I join you? Maybe I could ask you a couple questions?
Always. Feel free. There is a little desk that he has near his bed that can be used to sit down and study. There is a little lantern as well to give light. Even as he does actually just go ahead and stay within the bed, just because it seems like he's a little cautious now.
See, I'm at least polite and knock.
It's true.
Don't worry, she ain't gonna follow me here. You're free to get out of bed and roam around the room. Do cartwheels for all I care.
Probably a bad idea when one has had a little sister venom coursing through their veins.
Maybe. But as long as you don't hurt yourself more, you're free to walk about. Don't worry.
I don't plan to. And he will go ahead and get up and out of the bed, moving where you can see him, for now at least. So what has captured your attention now, Loretta?
Numa.
The labyrinth season.
Mm-hmm.
What about it, if I may ask?
She turns to look at him fully, takes out her notebook, and opens up to the pages upon pages upon pages of notes that she had already taken.
Oh my.
I'm gonna try to summon it.
You are going to write a petition then?
Mm-hmm. We got the ink. I'm learning how to best go about this. We think that if we're able to petition Numa to come early, we might be able to summon entities that are better equipped to help us deal with the problem.
I see. You are very set on this. I respect the effort you're putting into this. Most would not go for such admittedly dangerous ways.
Well, unlike many of the feminine icons in my family, I don't mind danger. Danger's what got me here in the first place.
True enough, I suppose. And how can I assist you with summoning, petitioning Numa?
You're a lot more knowledgeable than I am, than many of us who are within the walls of the Hush House right now. I know that at some point, petitioning Numa has gone successful. How do we go about it? What's the next step?
The petition will have to be written with enough focus and power put into it. It needs to be written to one of 3 hours. I know at least one of them that can do it, though. The Beach Crow, while having no dominion over Numa, knows it better than most, and could find the season to bring it here.
So I write to the Beach Crow.
You, or perhaps Mr. Kane, given his attachment to the aspect of Nock. You could, of course, assist, given your power and knowledge of this, but perhaps he could be the actual hand that holds the quill, as it were. Or perhaps it would be that you and he could each draft petitions, and of course, signed by all of you, might bring a bit more urgency to this.
All right. Is there anything more that we can do? A petition might work, but what if it doesn't? Is there any way else that we might be able to turn the tides in our favor?
There are a few other ways. You could bring along a summoning of other beings. There are beings associated with Nock that could help give power to your ways, to your rituals, to close the door and seal it.
All right.
And of course, there are other powers that could possibly lend a hand. I'd have to check back again within my notes. It's been a while since I've looked at anything associated with the gods from nowhere.
I don't think. What about these? And she's gonna take reach into that bag again, and she's gonna take out the tablet, and the other item that name I cannot pronounce because.
The Frankenclave.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at those and smiles. Both of those are actually quite powerful artifacts, especially associated with Knock. Utilizing those in the ritual would very easily keep that door closed. And with the Frankenclave, you could probably keep the lock shut. It might destroy the Frankenclave, but that's a small price to pay, I think.
She looks visibly pained when he says that.
The only key that was meant to withstand that lock is the key of the mare, which Rowena has. And unfortunately, she only comes out during Numa.
I think that's who we're trying to summon.
I think that you'll find her terse, stern. She's somewhat cold, but she's not a bad person. Well, bad's relative when you're speaking of the Leganes. But if you wish, I would be happy to assist in speaking to her. So that way we could convince her to give us the key. She's given the key to others before. She would probably be willing to give it to us now.
Think so. It's given the circumstances, I would hope that she'd be a bit more open to giving us what we need.
Her logic is alien, but I think that you'd be willing to listen.
I can't lie, this is the deepest I've gotten into this side of stuff. And I don't think any of us fully grasp the situation.
How would one even truly grasp this sort of situation? To think that this series of rituals and all this work is to actually prevent not just our world, but the entirety of reality from being consumed by an actual living cancer. It's madness, really. And he just gives a small smile to you.
It's eye-opening. There are so many people that are blind. People who don't know, or people who might have an idea but choose to live in ignorance.
Or those who know and work to keep others from learning. And he just sort of like winces a little bit. Like the Suppression Bureau.
Well, the Suppression Bureau ain't gonna like me much. I crave it. You know. And every night when I fall asleep, I can't help but think that I'm closer to begin to unravel all of the crazy, and it's been make me toss and turn. It's like a drug. I keep coming back to these, and she starts just pulling out notes upon notes upon notes out of her bag, like journals filled to the brim, with like loose pieces of paper just kind of like sticking out, like marker, like bookmarks, like keeping tabs of specific pages. And some of these books look like they're brand new, but some of them look like they've been written in and torn open and abused for like years. And she digs her hand into one of the journals, and it's a fairly and all it has on the cover is a picture of like an etched in sun. There's so much in this world. So much that not even the others know. Things that can take us and kill us, or make us reborn. Things that could open and shut our eyes. Things that drive us mad. Emotion. Knowledge. Have you ever been on that brink?
Yes.
I have too.
I was closer than even some others have been. I thought it was the right call to try to pull myself and my Baldemarian back, but she hurled herself off that particular ledge and left me here. And so I tried to follow her, too little too late.
What pulled you back?
A childish thought. It sounds stupid in my head now. I thought that love was enough.
Maybe it is.
For some, sure.
I'm not an expert. I'm not. I envy the little one. Helena.
What exactly do you envy about her?
Just live in a romanticized bliss. A dancer who helps her grandma in the shop. to lead a life where a lifestyle wasn't thrust upon her and then ripped away. Know so much, but so little at the same time, to where things are exciting and new and scary. Nothing is scary to me anymore. Nothing's exciting. Because there's nothing exciting when it becomes your obsession. Nothing's new. It's a means to survive.
Nihil nove sub sole. He smiles. Loretta knows that that's Latin for nothing new under the sun.
Yeah. I just wish that something could surprise me.
As Loretta looks back up to him, she realizes that he is sat beside her on the little bench in front of the desk. And he gently moves a lock of her hair from her face. It's been a while since I've been surprised as well. Would you like to stay here for a while longer?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can leave whenever you like.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're quite welcome, Loretta.
She looks down at the piles of papers that are now kind of like scattered around the little workbench and desk. The ones that she started tearing out of her bag. And she picks them up. And puts them back in her bag. Takes the bag off of her shoulder and tosses it on the ground. I think I'm done studying, but would you like some tea?
I think that'd be lovely. Thank you.
Though we might want to get you back into bed soon. Sister Rosalie comes here and takes both of our heads.
She's currently up in the chapel.
Yeah.
Though, I do think that I will be retiring. I'm not at 100% as I thought I was.
I don't think any of us are. Let me go get you that tea. I'll get you settled back into bed. And I'll stay here as long as you need.
Thank you, Loretta.
You're welcome, Christopher. And she'll get up and make him some tea. And get him back to bed.
He gets settled back into bed and just enjoys your company, chatting about whatever you wish to talk about, be it occult or even just other things. And with that, we are going to end our session for the evening.